Welcome back. Men's high jump final. Troy Kemp, first attempt, first jump in the competition. He's the co-holder of the Commonwealth record.
One of the favourites here. Oh, nice confident beginning. Unlike Sotomayor, Kemp does not have towering clearances. He will just do enough to clear the bar, and he cleared that rather easily. Very similar, actually, in looks and technique to Hollis Conway. But you can see that was very neat jump and a good margin of clearance there.
Kemp from the Bahamas. That's Gig Curl just going over. Kemp was in replay. Gig Curl going over 225. And Partyka also has gone over 225 at his second attempt. Conway will be next to go, by the look of it.
Now, Hollis Conway couldn't have started worse for him, actually. He's a great fighter and a great competitor, but he would have liked to have jumped 225 first time out, just to let people know he's here and with a good showing. But you can see the concentration is a lot more intense. Second attempt at 2 metres 25. Bouncy approach, now cuts back. That's more like it. That's the form we expect from the American record holder. So, sigh of relief. From the legs down, you can see Conway building himself. Now the hips propel him up and just floats over and works the lower half of the legs.
So Conway through now at 225. Sotomayor's gone through. Forsyth's had one jump at 220. Let's take a break for a moment from the high jump and pick up a world record from last night in the women's jump. Tim Forsyth, this is live. First attempt at 228. So world record last night in the triple jump. We've had 4 so far. Forsyth's had one clearance at 220. This is his second jump in the competition. So true to their word, they came in at 220 and go again at 228.
Right, now it gets serious. We're starting to get near 230. We're starting to get into the business end of the competition. Funnily enough, in the past, this is one height that Tim Forsyth has had trouble with. Seems to have a bit of a bogey on his back at 228. But not today. Oh, marvellous clearance. And Tim Forsyth is looking very, very good in this competition, Bruce.
Well, his attitude's always been very good at the big time. Second in the World Juniors twice behind Topic and Smith. Third in the Olympics. Even more pressure on him here today because he's amongst the favourites.
Yes, he's jumped of 235 earlier this season. He's won a couple of major meets. He's been thereabouts, and the other competitors recognise him, and the athletic fraternity in Europe recognise him as one of the big threats here.
Ruffini got over at 225, so the 4 men who missed at 225 are all clear.
The thing I like about Forsyth here, Bruce, is he jumps 228, he gets out of the pit, there's not too much elation, it's just another day at the office, he's just going through the procedures.
From Forsyth to Ortiz from Spain. He, like Forsyth, came in at 220, had a clearance, his second attempt now. His first at 228.
Also worth mentioning that it's still early doors, but Tim Forsyth has now taken the lead in this high jump competition. Let's see what Ortiz can do. Chance to equal Tim Forsyth in first place, and he's done it. Gave the bar a bit of a scrape, but he's clear. Personal best of 234 would be a real surprise if he was involved in the medals, but he's staking his claim.
His best this year is only 227. Doesn't look quite as comfortable as Forsyth Ortiz, the 27-year-old. Sonn is next up, the German hope, the 26-year-old.
And I feel that Sonn is now going to start feeling the pressure. He's got a best, as I said before, of 233, but he's starting to get close to that now. A mere 5 centimetres away. He's got the heavily supported knee. He's a great big massive fellow. Now let's see if he can move that big bolt and get it over the bar. Well, he did. And of course the crowd respond. And if he can take some of the excitement, some of the energy and some of the adrenaline that this crowd is producing, we can perhaps expect a 2 or 3 centimetre improvement from Sonn. So nicely over. And of course the home crowd very, very, very much in this competition with Sonn.
Like Ortiz and Forsyth over at 2:20 and 2:28 as we take a break. Back with more from Stuttgart after this. Second of the Americans, Tony Barton, about to go live from Stuttgart. You're watching the men's high jump final. Australia's Tim Forsyth is going great guns over at 2:20 and 2:28. Here's Barton at 2:28.
Very slow approach. Now builds some pace. Up and over. Gave the bar a little flick, but he's got to be happy with that because he joins Tim Forsyth and Ralf Sonn on top of the leaderboard with successful first up clearances at 2 metres 28.
Gickel, Zhukovsky have both missed at this height. Conway, Raffini have both passed. So we see Barton going over. Let's now go to the final of the men's shot put, and a wrap here with the big man Gunther, the favourite from Switzerland. Back live, here's Zhukovsky, second attempt at 2 metres 28 in the high jump, and over.
Well over,
Gickel has missed twice, sorry, Maurie. Passing was Kemp. Sotomayor passed, Conway passed at that height, and Smith has also passed.
Now Zhukovsky here, 2:28, only 3 centimetres shy of his personal best, but if you look at that clearance there today, that is a fine clearance, and I think he's going to at least jump a personal best here, perhaps 2:33, 2:34.
Well, as Gickel prepares for his third and final attempt, let's go. Now Gickel is out in the high jump. He's had 3 misses at 2:28, the Frenchman, so he finishes 12th with 2:25. The bar has been raised to 2:31, and the next to go will be Tim Forsyth of Australia. Hasn't missed yet, 2:20 and 2:28.
So here's Tim Forsyth. His first attempt, 2:31. He's been impeccable to date with good clearances at 20, 28. Good thing about it, and I like it, the fact that he is jumping first in the order. Therefore, he jumps the bar, he puts a little bit of extra pressure on the others to equal him. Now he comes. Unfortunately, a little bit of a miss there, but I don't think there's any real problems. He had plenty of height on it. Just seemed to come down a little bit on it. And we'll look at the replay. So here he comes in now. The lift was there, just with the buttock as he moved along the bar before he worked the legs. And unfortunately, a miss at 2:31, but he has 2 more attempts.
Here's the German Ralf Sonn as we welcome you back to Stuttgart, 2:31. He's over at 2:20 and 2:28. This would put him into first place in the competition.
Approximately 60,000 Germans willing him over. Picks up his pace. Oh, he's over. And does he love it? He responds to the howls of the big crowd, and they respond to him. Deafening noise. Big man, big jump. A big reaction from athlete and crowd.
So Sonn over. Partyka's also over at 2:31, but he has had 1 miss at 2:25. And here's Steve Smith. He's only had the 1 leap at 2:25. He goes his first go at 31.
Steve Smith getting to be known as a big meat competitor. His best performances seem to come in the majors. It's not a bad way to develop as an athlete. Fast approach. Got it horribly wrong that time, though. Horribly wrong. The approach was good. He swerved back into the bar, but the lift wasn't there. He was really trying to snake around the bar, as it were, without having anywhere near the height he required to. So 1 miss at 2:31 for Steve Smith.
Zhukovsky from Belarus. Clear at 15, 20, 25. 1 miss at 28 and then got over. Now this is his personal best he's attempting here at 31. There's Sonn. If they close shop now, he'd have the gold medal, and there'd be a big celebration here. but there's a lot of high jumping still to come. 1,500 metres for women, about 5 minutes away.
So here's Oleg Zukovsky. Not a lot known of him. Not a lot of international exposure. Personal best, 2:31. Just to equal it. Stay in touch with the leading division in this competition. Short and stride, not enough left. So Zukovsky, one failure at 28, now one failure at 2:31.
Kikel already out, the Frenchman, at 2:25. He had 3 failures at 28. So we're down to 11, and Conway looks as if he'll be next to go. Second in the Olympics in Seoul in 1988, and sharing a bronze medal with Tim Forsyth in 1992. Former world indoor champion in 1991. And second behind Sotomayor at the World Juniors 7 years ago. Here's Conway, best this season of 2:38.
He won't want to be as lazy in this jump as he was in his first attempt at 2:25. Concentrating a lot harder. Bouncy approach. Cuts back. Had the height, but came down on the bar. And really, Hollis Conway hasn't presented a consistent picture here today. Another bad miss. His opening attempt, this time at 2:31. He did pop up in the air. He had a lot of lift, but it's more than lift that's required. He came right down on top of that bar.
Forsyth, second attempt at 2:31.
So here comes Tim Forsyth. Flick that. He flicked that. Well, wait. Now he got over that. He stepped out of the pit. The bar fell off, and the official has put a red flag on it. Most unusual. Most unusual. Flicked it. As you can see, it was there. We're staying up. Tim waved to the crowd. He stepped out of the pit, and suddenly it fell. I reckon what's happening is the bag where he stood on near the high jump upright has nudged the upright and tippled that bar off. As far as I'm concerned, that's a clearance.
Another look at this for Forsyth.
He's over, and you can see he's pleased with that. He acknowledges that, goes to step out of the pit, and bang. As he stepped on the pit near the bar, the pit knocked the upright and brought the bar down. That, to mine, is a clearance, and if Tim Forsyth is not credited with that clearance, that will be not justice.
Here's Conway, one of the favourites. Second attempt at 2:31, and he's over. Let's hope that doesn't fall off for him. Look, he's rushed out of the pit as quickly as possible to get clear. Well, the Forsyth incident has caused tremendous controversy here. But at this stage, he's been credited with 2 misses. Conway getting over, had plenty of height, but did touch it on the way down. He's now clear at 2:31. So we've got Sonn clear at 2:31 and Conway clear at 2:31. Ruffini next to go. Ruffini coming back. Now this will test him. His best this season's 2:28. So for Forsyth, he's got one more shot. There's Sonn. The German favourite is clear at 2:31 and currently in the gold medal position, but Sotomayor's going very well. Ruffini next to go. From the Slovak Republic. Injured for a couple of years. Was one of the favourites going into Seoul. 4x100 metres final coming up for women in about 10 minutes' time. And another 10 minutes after that, the 4x1 for men. Watch for a world record attempt there. Christie reckons the Brits can beat the Americans. It's very doubtful. Here's Ruffini. Second attempt at 2:31. No, didn't look like it. And he looks to be in all sorts of trouble. So Ruffini will get one more attempt like Tim Forsyth. Now, on replay, here's Steve Smith, one of the favourites, the world junior record holder, co-holder, and co-holder of the Commonwealth record. He's third in the World Indoor Championship. Second attempt at 2:31. Made a mess of the first, and again knocks it down. His timing was wrong there. Seemed to take a long way off from the bar, so Smith's in a lot of trouble here. Giving it a big nudge, and down it goes. So Smith's had two misses at 2:31 as Ruffini looks on. Welcome back live. Dramatic moment here for Tim Forsyth. Appeared to be clear at 2:31. Seemed to be the victim of shocking luck there. This is his final attempt. Must get over to stay in the competition. Bronze medalist at the Olympics last year. Set a national record in Canberra of 2:35 this year. Won the British Championships. A big moment in this young man's career. Third and final attempt. Well, that was disappointing. He looked tentative in the run-up. There's no question about that. Well, he's very upset, believing that victim of an injustice. He certainly didn't do himself justice with the last attempt, but the previous one at 2:31 appeared to be clear. And look at Forsyth here. Very, very angry with the situation. So Tim Forsyth is out of the competition at 2:28. Usually so cool and calm. Such an outstanding competitor when it counts most. But not his day today. Now for Steve Smith, his great rival, he's in the same boat. This is his final attempt at 31. He hasn't looked nearly as good as Forsyth so far. Didn't get near it on his previous two, but he's over. Cleared it easily. Flew over. Well, Smith able to rise above the bar when it counted then. So terrible luck for Australia and Tim Forsyth, but the Brits are flying high. Oh, that was a great clearance by Smith. He had a lot of space between himself and the bar. And Smith very, very happy. So Tim Forsyth, repeating, is out of the competition now. On replay a few moments ago, here's Troy Kemp, who holds the Commonwealth record along with Steve Smith. This is his second attempt at 2:31 from the Bahamas, and he sailed over and didn't touch it at all. So Kemp's clear at 31, Conway's clear at 31, Smith's clear at 31, Partyka's clear at 31, Sonn is clear at 31. Sotomayor hasn't gone, he's passed at 31. So Kemp getting up and over. So that's the situation in the high jump. And it's Zukovsky about to go for his third attempt, and he's out also from Belarus. So Zukovsky out from Belarus at 2:28 along with Forsyth. So Gikel, Zukovsky and Forsyth out of the competition. Ruffini's in a lot of trouble, I would say. So we've lost Zukovsky. Now the women's javelin will go in a moment, and Haddistad's about to throw. Maurie's rejoined me. Martin of the United States, who I know you fancied. This is at 2:31, third and final attempt.
Needs this to stay in the competition. Picks up the pace. He's over. Well, well, well. Now, Tony Barton, he looked good in warm-up. He looked better than his more favoured compatriot, Hollis Conway. And is he happy? The answer is...
Welcome back to Stuttgart. Ralf Sonn. Clear at 20, 28, 31, going for 34.
Well, a big crowd roar. And they roared him over. That's a personal best. And big Ralf Sonn responds to the big crowd, and he's in this competition.
So Sonn over at 2:34. Remains an equal sixth position. Back to the high jump. Conway, first attempt, 2:34.
Well, we're getting to the business end of this high jump now. I don't like to sound to be repetitive, but I think Timmy Forsyth has been given the short straw. Now here's Conway. Just sneaked it. As he went over, got plenty of height that time. The buttocks and the thigh came down on the bar and it couldn't stay in place. Small man in comparison to some of these other jumpers. Lots of bounce. Didn't quite get the big movement he required.
Steve Smith has also missed at 2:34. So Conway with 3 misses so far, but still very much in the competition. Here's the favourite, Sotomayor. Has only had the one at 2:25. He got over it very impressively, and now goes for his first at 34.
He's seen a number of these other competitors struggling, and he figures now is as good a time as any to really take a grasp of this competition. He's been prowling around in the background, doing his warm-up exercises, never far from the thoughts of the other competitors. And he goes through his pre-jump ritual. He turns his back on the bar. Now he faces the bar. He will shortly shut his eyes. Visualise the fast approach, the lift, and then visualise himself kicking clear and the bar staying up. Magnificent specimen of a man, power-packed body.
Well, Sotomayor is now waiting for the national anthem, a presentation to the women's 1500 metres. So we'll take a break in... Sotomayor, as we welcome you back, the world record holder, the Cuban, in the high jump. First attempt at 34. He's had only one clearance so far, 25. He's only had one jump so far. Up, over, way over. Well, Sotomayor didn't look completely happy there. I don't know why. But well clear at 34. So he looks as if he's in world record shape. Now, this is a replay of Barton going over and knocking it down just a moment ago from the United States. That was his first attempt at 2:34. They've equalled the world. As we come back to Kemp live and over at 2:34. Kemp's made it at 2:34. So Kemp and Sotomayor and Sonn are all over at 2:34 in the high jump. Just going back for a moment to that 4x1, the Americans 37.40 equalled the world record they set in Barcelona last year. Australia ran 38.46, which is almost half a second off the Australian record. There's Kemp clear, not touching it. So this high jump competition is really warming up. Second attempt. Hollis Conway, third in the Olympics in 92 and second in 1988. Second attempt at 2:34. Sotomayor's over clearly, and Conway's given it a rap, but he's got over. So Conway's clear, so's Kemp, so's Sotomayor. Now here's Smith in replay, who's been in all sorts of trouble. He got over at 31 at his last attempt, and he's over at 34. Oh, he's a man for a big occasion. So Smith goes over. So Sonn's got over, Smith is over, Conway is over, Sotomayor is over, and Kemp is over at 2:34 in the men's high jump. Back to the high jump. This is Ortiz, who's had 2 misses at 34 and goes at 37. Will only get 1 attempt. There he is. Have a look at that. Cross at 34. Must clear this at 37 to stay in the competition, or he'll finish with a 2:31 clearance. Ortiz of Spain. 2:34 is his best. He's in unknown territory here. 5-minute clear at 34. Smith, Conway, Sotomayor, Kemp and Sonn. Ortiz, first attempt and last attempt at 37. No, you wouldn't have fancied him. So he goes out at 2:31, missing 34 twice and 37 once. And Sonn is next up in the high jump. Hasn't missed yet. Ortiz missing and going out. Now, there's Ortiz looking on. Here's Sonn, Ralf Sonn, a 26-year-old medical student from Germany. Sixth in the Olympic Games. It's 1.97 metres. He's gone clear at 20, at 28, at 31, and at 34. Ralf Sonn, this is, at 37. 2:37 first attempt. He's already recorded a personal best at 34. It's been very close to missing a couple of times. He's had a bit of luck with him today. Oh! Red flag missing. Giving it a fair brush, but he gave the 34 almost as big a brush when it came tumbling down. So, Sonn missing his first at 37. Smith and Conway, Sotomayor and Kemp are amongst the favourites now. Let's look at Sonn. Had the height, just touched it with the hamstrings, and it came tumbling down. Men's 10. Welcome back to Stuttgart. Men's high jump continuing on. The rule in the high jump is that a competitor fails. We're talking about Tim Forsyth. The Australians are thinking of protesting. After the jump, the bar does not remain on the supports because of the action of the competitor whilst jumping. It's rule 171.6. Now here's Partyka at 2:37. He passed at 2:34. This is in replay. Up and over and breaks his national record. Breaks the Polish national record. So Partyka's still going in the high jump as we go back to Sotomayor. This is live. He's had 2 jumps so far, 25 and 34. Has looked supreme. The 10,000 starting in about 3 minutes. It's exhilarating in here at the stadium today. So much going on. Here's Sotomayor, world record holder, and over again. Well, he looks the gold medalist. Clear at 25, 34, 37. Sotomayor. 2:45 his world record. Could we see 2:40 for the first time in a major championships? So Sotomayor continuing with a faultless display. Current leader, there's Sotomayor. Kemp's on the runway. Kemp, his first attempt at 2:37. It's clear at 2:34. He's been in sparkling form. Or had the height. Very unlucky. So you'd fancy that Kemp would have a very good chance. It's his first miss at 37. So Partyka and Sotomayor, the 2 men over so far at 37. Sonn missing and Kemp missing. Here's Kemp, certainly had the height. This is the Commonwealth record height, by the way, 2:37. He and Smith jointly own it. And touching it. So Kemp out at 37, but with 2 more to go. So out there on his first attempt, but certainly in with a chance. Now here's Steve Smith in replay at 37, and he goes clear. Well, what a competition he's having. So he's equalled his Commonwealth record. He's equalled his Commonwealth record at in 4th place. Leave the track for a moment. Early stages of the 10,000. Kemp, 3rd and final attempt at 2:37. This to stay in the competition. We've seen Partyka, Smith and Sotomayor go clear. So they've got the medals at this moment. Sonn still in the competition, the German. Here's Kemp, his 3rd and final attempt. And he's out. So Kemp of the Bahamas goes out at 2:34 of Mexico, 8.92. As we go back to the high jump, this is live. Sonn, second or first attempt, he's put it up to 2:40. So the bar has been raised to 2:40. His best is 2:33 before this competition. The 10,000 metre runners just filed past him. He has improved his best to 2:34. Sonn with 55,000 people behind him. About to go. First attempt at 2:40. Getting all the support you'd expect. No, not at all. Sotomayor, second attempt at 2:40. Will he get over? Yes, he does. He's in the gold medal position. It's the first time in a major championship anyone's cleared 240 at a World Championships or Olympic Games. He's the world record holder at 245. There's no change in the 10 at the moment. Let's stay with Sotomayor as he goes over at 240. The gold medal favourite. Tanui's moved up and joining Chelimo, and there's Sotomayor clear. So Sotomayor, the first man clear at 240. Oh, what celebration. We saw Quintero win yesterday as we leave. As here's Sotomayor. First attempt at a world record of 246. It's about 8 feet 1 1/4. He is the world record holder at 245. Set it in Salamanca this year. Broke his own world record that he set in Puerto Rico of 244. And he set the world record before that in Salamanca at 243. There's the measurement. Sotomayor, 246. Up, oh, not far away. Gives himself a chance. So misses the first attempt. Already has the gold. Partyka has the silver of Poland, setting a national record of 237, and Smith has the bronze on a countback from Britain. Here's Sotomayor's first attempt at the world record. Not a lot in it. You'd give him some chance of getting it. Now Sotomayor with 2 more attempts. Here's Sotomayor, second attempt, world record at 246.
Well, he's been jumping today as if he's been coming off the ground propelled by a rocket launcher. He's had the big thighs working. He knows what he wants to do. And really, he wants to come home with a world record to add to the gold medal. The gold medal safely around his neck. Now he wants the honours of the world record. Powerful man. Oh, didn't get into position then. Did not get into position then. I guess it's very hard. As a matter of fact, I think he's calling it a day. He's happy with the gold medal. The world record wasn't here. He signalled timeout, and he's saying, I'll go home, back to Havana with the gold.
Sotomayor winning the gold medal for Cuba. Partyka from Poland taking the silver, and the bronze medal going to Smith of Great Britain. So Sotomayor winning with 2.40 metres. As the result from the high jumps come through, Sotomayor, championship record of 240 of Cuba, the gold medalist. Partyka, the silver from Poland, a national record. Smith equaling his national and Commonwealth record. And Sonn with a personal best. Kemp, Conway, Ortiz, Barton, and Tim Forsyth finished in 9th place. Women's 4x400 metres, final coming up shortly. Let's go back to last night, early this morning Australian time, to the semi-final where the Americans were involved. Here's the presentation for the high jump. Sotomayor, the great Cuban, winning the gold medal.
Well, he had those big springing legs working today. Clearance at 240 assured him of the gold. And really he gave the impression that if he had to jump higher in order to secure the gold, that was always going to be a possibility. But there he is, the Olympic champion, the world record holder, now world champion.
Silver medal going to Artur Partyka, who was third at the Olympics last year. He set a national record of 2:37. So he's gaining a reputation as the man for big championships. Never one to challenge a world record. Probably not one of the glamorous high jumpers on the circuit like Sotomayor or Sjoberg, the men that mainly get the Grand Prix points. But Partyka now starting to collect some medals. And third, Steve Smith from Great Britain, whose rivalry with Tim Forsyth in the last 12 months, I think, has been a spur to both of them.
Yeah, Tim Forsyth, he now has the job in front of him to equal what Steve Smith's produced in a couple of the majors. I believe Tim was terribly hardly done by today. I think he was going to take a hand in the medals, but unfortunately that's the way things go. and he'll now look forward to a couple of more meets on the circuit and can get himself in top shape and really stamp his authority on this event next year. Talking of protests, which we weren't, but which we were a couple of moments earlier, I understand also, Bruce, that the Kenyans have protested the 10,000 metre result.
Cubans taking both the high jumps, first and second in the women with Quintero and Costa, and first in the men's with Sotomayor.
Terrific standard achieved there, Bruce. 240 to win and 237 to get a medal. The winning jump in last year's Barcelona Olympics would not have got a medal in this company here today.
234.
Exactly.
Sotomayor winning that with 234, but today needing 240 to take gold at the World Championships. One of the great favourites in athletics. Probably now go for another world record this year. They're not easy to get. They're very, very tough, particularly when you're breaking your own, and it's up to 245. But watch out for him in the next couple of weeks. He'll probably have one more crack at the world record.
245 is a long way up in the air, Bruce, and to give you a bit of an idea, that'd be like jumping onto the roof of most people's house.